Hello, everybody. It is Monday. How are you tonight? Welcome to Monday, people. Welcome to Monday. How are you this evening? Tell me about your day. What are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? Tell me about what's happening in your world this Monday night. Monday, March the 8th. We are marching forth. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are taking the bull by its horns, and we are marching forth this Monday. Tell me about your day. What is happening out there in your world today? It's been kind of a Monday today, I'll tell you. It's been kind of a Monday in my world, but it's been a good sales day, so I'll take that. And the sun was shining, so that puts people ultimately in a good mood. Ultimately, we're in a good place. So tell me about your day and what's happening in your world. Hey, Adele and Dazzle are here. How are you today, Adele and Dazzle? Great to have you here on this Monday night. Kitty is with us. Happy Monday, Kitty. Great to have you here as well. What are you all grateful for this Monday night? That's what I want to know. I want to know what you are grateful for and what's making you smile this Monday. That's what I want to know on this Monday night. I hope all is well in your world. Like I said, it's been kind of a Monday in my world, but it's been, from a sales perspective, it's good. Customer flow is good. It's a good way to start the week, and it's a good week to have a good week as we kick off week 51 and 52. Week 51 and 52 on this marathon. 70 tomorrow. Whoa! It seems like it was below zero there just a couple weeks ago, Kitty. That's crazy. That's crazy. 70 degrees. That's gonna help move the spring clothing off the racks. That's gonna move that spring clothing right off the racks. My processing team has been getting that spring clothing out and out and out. Trying to keep that all moving. So it is a weird time, but I want to be able to take advantage of every opportunity. So that is why we are keeping that moving. Hey, Sylvia, great to have you here. Great to have you here this Monday. I'm grateful to have all of you here. Let's get this started. I feel like I got a lot to cover tonight. So hey, Wendy. Good morning, good night book is how we start this program every night. Tonight, if you're following along, we're on page 196. 196. On page 196, our good morning is, good morning. You are perfectly cast in your life. I can't imagine anyone but you in the role. Go play. Yeah, but can you really blame people for wanting to get out there and enjoy it, take a walk, see the brighter side of the street and everything when you're out there? I can't imagine. Everybody. Even Dazzle probably wanted to go out for a walk today. Dazzle probably wanted to pretend it was an outdoor cat. She was an outdoor cat there and get out there and walk today. It was nice. Dazzle just enjoyed it in the window. That's good. They were probably in the yard. Yeah, well, I like the snowbanks on my yard to melt first. They'll be sending me a bill. Before, it won't be long. It will not be long. Let's see, what was the last thing I printed here? I feel like I have so much going on today. So much going on today. So let's get to it. Our quote from Simon today: appreciate when things go awry. It makes for a better story to share later. Well, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? It is. Let me just try to get a little bit organized here. Today, folks, and especially for you folks, because you're mostly women out there. Hey, Carrie, congratulations, you shot warrior, you. Congrats on getting your first vaccine shot. Nana gets her second shot later this week. Wednesday, I think. Wednesday, Nana gets it. But today is International Women's Day. I really liked this email from our friends at the peanut butter cup manufacturers, because they took the time for International Women's Day to talk about the women that shopping with them, the women in their business that it supports, and all the women they employ. I thought that was a really great take on International Women's Day, and there's still time for you to do a Facebook post about it or send out an email to let people know about it. You know, I thought that was a really good take on it, to say, you know, how many women this women-owned business supports? I thought that was great. Finding inspiration everywhere, people. Inspiration is everywhere. You just got to look sometimes. I like this quote. Los Angeles' biggest port is more jam-packed than its pre-pandemic nightclubs on a Saturday night. Increased demand for container traffic is bottlenecking ports and gumming up supply chains and delaying product deliveries for retailers. Some examples: Peloton lost 12 days in supply time as the ship idled outside the port of Los Angeles. Steve Madden slashed its quarter one sales expectations by $30 million due to the supply chain problems. And Crocs CEO told analysts during a recent earnings call that getting merchandise through Trans-Pacific ports is, quote, really challenging right now. Some retailers have tried to take flight with their cargo, but that gets pricey really fast. And according to experts in New York Times interviews, shoppers will likely spend their newly issued stimulus checks on clothing and appliances, which could further clog the ports. But it won't if they shop at our stores, because resellers have the advantage with clothing. Resellers have the advantage, I'm telling you. It is a wonderful advantage this spring. You know, not only are we open, but we have inventory, and our supply chain is local. Hey, Kelly, great to have you here tonight. Great to have you here. I found this article really interesting, and I got to share it with you for a minute. Retail's most expensive bankruptcies. From 2016 through 2020, retailers and their estates have logged about $2 billion on bankruptcy professionals across more than 120 cases. The 20 most expensive retail bankruptcies, okay? I mean, who knew that going bankrupt could cost so much? Sears cost $250 million. Toys R Us, $270 million. $207 million. Nine West, $104 million. JCPenney was a bargain in bankruptcy at a mere $61 million. Neiman Marcus, $54 million. Payless, $54 million. J. Crew, $52 million. Claire's, $51 million. Tailored Brands, $40 million. What's more interesting was just how much was paid to their advisors, the consultants, okay, over the years. The top earning consultant in bankruptcy, Kirkland and Ellis, earned $200 million of that, $198.5 million actually. Wheel and Gothshall and Manges earned $170 million. Alvarez and Marsal, $116 million. Lazard and Company, $110. I mean, it's just FTI Consulting, who I know several people at, $64 million. Berkeley Research Group, so we can research planning your bankruptcy, $57 million. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, if money was spent on other things, you know, I mean, and they get paid in full. Those people get paid in full in a retail bankruptcy. Yeah, Sears lost its direction a long time ago. Sears lost its direction a long time ago. Sears is a sad story of a once iconic brand. Actually, now it's a sad story of two once iconic brands. The Kmart and Sears coupling really makes it sad for what were two iconic and innovational retailers when they stopped changing, when they stopped listening to their customers, when they stopped evolving to serve their customers' needs, when they stopped asking what if, okay, when they stopped asking what if, okay, they became the dinosaurs and were quickly overrun by others. You know, and you couldn't manage their way out of it with bean counting, okay? That wasn't the way to do it. It's about the experience, okay? It's about what you create for people. It's about how you make people feel, and Sears never brought that back. Sears never brought that back. But talking about a store that does want to make you feel good, Charming Charlie's back and getting ready to open 14 more locations. From Texas to California, even Des Moines, Iowa are on the list. Chicago's on the list. Closest to me is Deptford, New Jersey. I mean, I've been in some of these. I've been in the Pembroke Pines, Florida Mall, or the Pembroke Lakes Mall. The Willowbrook Mall in Houston I've been in. But this is also places where they knew they did well before. So they have history here in these locations. And, you know, so it'll be interesting to see how they do this time around. Okay, I think I'm headed into government craziness now. I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of government stuff for you here tonight. I love this quote. I love this quote, and it's something that I've continued to remind you. Okay, that even though things are looking good, I don't have a crystal ball. I do not have a crystal ball. I've got a bell. I've got a Mickey Mouse bell, but I do not have a crystal ball. And this quote is so true to that. There is no such thing as a foreseeable future. There is no such thing as a foreseeable future. You know, chew on that for a second. Okay, so before I get into some of the other the main things that you already think are happening in Congress this week, I want to talk about a bill that you probably know very little about. And I will acknowledge that it's confusing as all heck, but it's a bad bill, okay? It has actually been labeled by many the worst bill in Congress this year. And I'm talking about the PRO Act. And that is a bill that is going to actually be taken up in the House likely this week, right after they pass the stimulus plan. They're going to take up this bill called the PRO Act, and it is the worst act in Congress. If the PRO Act becomes law, retailers and workers can expect some of the following: an end to independent worker contracts in the gig economy, goodbye to private ballots and union elections, forced disclosure of employees' personal information to union organizers. And it doesn't have to be even an organizer within your company. Companies can come soliciting any company they want that they might want to organize a union just to get your employees' information, and you'd have to provide it. Repeal of all right-to-work statutes in states nationwide. Picketing and union coercion at Main Street businesses. This is a big one. Let's say you're with a big landlord or a big trash company, and their union goes on strike. Well, they can strike every place that company does business with. So that includes your business. So if you get trash pickup from one of the big guys and they have a union and they have a union dispute, they can now picket your business under this law because you do business with the company that they're on strike with. Government control over private contracts between employers and employees. Limitless joint employer liability. This takes the franchise model and destroys it, and makes, if one franchise group is sued, they're all sued. Jeopardize attorney-client privilege in company things, increases in costly litigation for all parties, and quite summarily, unprecedented interference in retailers' ability to run their business. It is so much BS. The PRO Act is a compilation of dozens of extreme labor policy proposals from the past several years lumped into one disastrous bill. The competition among very bad bills pending in Washington could run into the hundreds, but this is the only one likely to get a vote. That's why it's being called the worst bill in Congress. It is really a ridiculous bill. It is horrendous. It's a horrendous bill. You have an opportunity to tell Congress tonight that you say no to the PRO Act. And I know the bill itself is huge and it's very confusing, but it's very bad. Okay, there's nothing that you'd say, woohoo, let's get on the PRO Act. There's nothing that you as a person in labor or, in management makes this sound like a good bill. But it is going to likely get a vote. It'll certainly get a vote in the House, and it has the chance in the Senate once it gets the House vote. So it's important that we tell Congress that this is bad. There will be a post in the NART's private Facebook page in the next half hour that where you can just click and notify your congressional representatives that you vote no on the PRO Act, that you want them to vote no. I encourage you all to do that. There's also a link there to more information about the PRO Act. It's a really bad bill, and our friends at the National Retail Federation have asked me to talk about it tonight and asked me to ask you to click on that. I already have. It'll be over there in the NART's private Facebook page within the half hour. It'll be over at narts.org/resalestrong by noon tomorrow. It's a terrible, terrible bill. And yeah, because you could be dragged into every labor dispute involving customers, vendors, landlords, and tenants. And the federal government would even get into authoring contracts between employers and employees, dictating the terms and conditions of employees. It's just a terrible bill. It's just really, really bad. So please click that link. It takes only a couple minutes to notify your congressional representatives that we're not for this. And so we're not. There's lots of things in government that we are for. They've been very helpful on a lot of things. I had one business person talking about it who was actually a gig worker, an independent writer. And he's like, you know, this week you're telling me my business is important with all the stuff the FDA is doing for independent contractors and 1099 employers, not 1099, Schedule C employers, and you're telling me I'm important to government, and next week you're trying to put me out of business with the PRO Act. And that person was really right with the definition of it. So let's keep business going. Let's keep this recovery going, and let's say no to the PRO Act. Again, the bill that passed the Senate this weekend, the $1.9 trillion plan that passed the Senate this weekend, did remove the $15 minimum wage. You will see that again. It is coming. People, I can't stress that enough. The $15 minimum wage nationwide is coming. It will pass this year. I promise you that. I'm not trying to make you scared of it. I'm just making you aware of it. For unemployment benefits, it extends the $300 a week in payments through September 6th. This is a big one for a lot of people, $10,200 in tax relief for households with incomes under $150,000 a year on unemployment. So the first $10,200 in unemployment will be tax-free, and that's retroactive to last year. And $85 billion to support vaccination efforts, and $350 billion to support state and local government. So there's a lot of good stuff in this bill. The House is expected to take it up tomorrow. It's expected to get to the president by Thursday when he wants to go and give a nationwide address. Simultaneously talking about a COVID anniversary of which is Thursday, when the World Health Organization labeled COVID-19 a pandemic, and dealing with that, but also talking about how he's signing that bill. So that is expected to sign this week, and it's important that it gets signed this week before unemployment benefits expire next week. Our friends at the CDC issued new guidance for vaccinated people today. The guidance includes the following recommendations for fully vaccinated individuals. They are allowed to visit with other fully vaccinated people indoors without wearing masks or staying 6 feet apart. They are allowed to visit with unvaccinated people from one other household indoors without wearing masks or staying 6 feet apart if everyone in the other household is at low risk for severe disease. They are allowed to refrain from quarantine and testing if they do not have symptoms of COVID-19 after contact with someone who has COVID-19. The CDC recommends that fully vaccinated people continue to take these precautions when in public and when visiting with unvaccinated people from multiple other households, or with unvaccinated people who are at high risk from getting severely ill. Wear a mask. Wear a well-fitted mask. Stay at least 6 feet from people you do not live with. Avoid medium and large-sized in-person gatherings. Get tested if experiencing COVID symptoms. And follow guidance issued by individual employers. And that's where I have to remind you. Okay, and it's been a while since I've talked about this, but it's important that we talk about it. Who's the governor? Who's the governor? Okay? Who's the governor? Okay, the governor of your state gets a lot of news. Okay? And a lot of governors are making a lot of news right now. And they're making political decisions, I would argue, rather than health decisions. And I know that's my opinion, and I'm stating that here. They're making political decisions, not health decisions. They're making political decisions because we are nearing the 1-year anniversary of all this, and people are tired of all this. So states are relaxing restrictions. They're relaxing mask mandates. They're relaxing occupancy levels. I mean, even in Connecticut, they are going to full occupancy levels in restaurants and retail later this month. So this is happening around the country. Okay, Massachusetts has reduced occupancy restrictions on restaurants, but you still have to stay 6 feet apart. You can only have your mask off when you're actually eating. So there's a lot of different pressure politically to reduce restrictions. That does not reduce the virus. The virus doesn't say, oh, the restrictions are over. Let me take the virus off screen here. No virus here anywhere. There's no virus. There's no virus. Oh, no, the virus does not listen to that. That is not how viruses work. What I'm really reminding you about is, beyond all the politics of this, you are the governor of your store. You are the governor of your family. You are the governor of your environment. It is your choice as a private business to decide what mandates you will still have in place beyond the lifting of restrictions. Whether you will still require customers shopping with you to wear a mask even if your state does not. Whether you will still require distancing in your store even if your state does not. Okay? Whether you will still clean regularly even if your state says you do not have to. You are the governor of your environment. You are the governor of your individual community. You get to decide that. Nobody else. So don't forget that. Don't forget who the governor is. The governor is you. You're the governor of your family. You're the governor of your store. I can't stress that enough. That is you. You are that governor. So don't forget that through all of this, through any relaxing that's going on, you make the decision that is right for you, your store, your community. And no one here will second guess you on that. We may do something entirely different. Okay, I may require everyone to wear a Mickey Mouse mask. You're going to have to wear a Mickey Mouse mask and carry a Mickey Mouse bell. I could require that because it's my private store. It may limit my customers, but I could require that. Okay? But that doesn't mean I'm a Mickey Mouse operation. And I'm not making light of any of this. It's a very serious thing. We even saw in our nerds community today someone came down with COVID. This is still a serious virus. The health risks are serious. Sure. There's just good guesses, according to some people. Right, Kelly? There's good guesses. There's good guesses that we're going to continue moving forward in a positive way. Okay? But you're still the governor. Don't forget that. Do not forget that. There's a lot of pressure, switching gears slightly. The House Education and the House Committee on Education and Labor is holding a hearing on March 11th titled Clearing the Air, Science-Based Strategy to Protect Workers from COVID-19. There's actually a big push on Congress to make OSHA issue emergency temporary standard, what's called an ETS, to affect all workplaces and how all workplaces deal with COVID. OSHA's not feeling the same thing, partly because they don't have a way to enforce it, and even deal with the influx of calls they would get about it. There's internal pushback on that, going from recommendations, which everything from the CDC and even your government's is recommendations, recommended procedures within your business, to emergency technical standards, okay, which would be actual workplace restrictions. And even if OSHA did that, it's likely to meet with a lot of lawsuits to impede its enforcement. I just want you to be aware that there is that push going on. Whether anything comes with it, I do not know. For those of you who know what Legal Seafoods is, Legal Seafoods is a Boston landmark chain of seafood restaurants, and they have some in airports around the country and other parts of the country. They have Legal Seafoods. I think they have one in D.C., New York, maybe Chicago. And they had sued their insurer for they had sued their insurance company for financial losses stemming from the COVID pandemic and government restrictions. This ruling against them is one of the first in Massachusetts courts related to business interruption coverage, and it went nowhere. They argued that their argument was the virus caused direct physical loss of or damage to its restaurants. The chain pointed to people known or suspected to have had the virus who had been at its restaurants. But the judge wrote in a 16-page ruling that the virus does not affect the structural integrity of a property and thus cannot constitute direct physical loss or damage to property. COVID-19 harms people, not property. I'm sorry, Kitty, to hear that the broadcast is going glitchy tonight. I think we gotta find another platform. The judge also ruled that because they also argued because the civil authority had prohibited access to properties that the claim should be paid. The judge found that legal was not denied access to its restaurants because the company was allowed to perform takeout and delivery services. That it was immaterial whether it was economically feasible for legal to continue restaurant operations solely for carryout and delivery. So that's interesting, although the one part of that is that they were still allowed to do business in some form. In areas where you weren't, would the ruling be different? And I don't know. We're still working with our friends at United Policyholders on, they are working on behalf of many people across the country on cases, and so we'll continue to follow that, although I'm not expecting a lot of great things on that, especially anytime soon. Yeah, I think Facebook is getting really wonky. We may need to learn to figure out how we can stream right to YouTube or something. I know my peanut gallery has been looking at alternatives because of what's been happening to us with Facebook, but I don't know that we have anything. Massachusetts became the latest state to reach a deal to avoid a tax rate a hike in unemployment tax and a deal on PPP tax. So not to tax the PPP and not to raise unemployment insurance rates It is a good thing. You just need to be aware of it. I'm sorry, Kelly. I really don't want you to miss all my key comments or my one-liners. Sometimes I'm actually funny. Some people tell me I'm funny. We'll see what we can do. My team will continue to work on it to try to make us better. They even prioritize me on the Wi-Fi now. I'm prioritized is what they tell me when I'm broadcasting. Well, you know, this broadcast and everything that I cover, unedited, unbleeped, go right over to narcs.org/resalestrong by noon tomorrow. narcs.org/resalestrong by noon tomorrow. That's where you'll find everything that I talked about, all the files, the link to vote no on the PRO Act. Vote no, people. Tell Congress to vote no on the PRO Act. You'll find it all over there at narcs.org/resalestrong by noon the next day, including a link to this YouTube, to the YouTube channel. You're not alone running this store, where you can like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when a new one drops. You can also share it with all your friends in business, butcher, baker, candlestick maker. We want to help everybody get to the other side of this. I'm here every night, live in the Narcs private Facebook group, live. That's where you find me at more 8 than-ish. But if you have a question in between, you just email me, Neil, Neil at ECIstores.com, Neil at ECIstores.com. Kelly, you may miss my funny one-liners because people tell me I never tell a good joke, but that's neither here nor there. You don't come here for their jokes, you come here for reality. We start this program every night with the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start this program. Tonight, we're on page 196. If you weren't here at the top of the program, good morning. You are perfectly cast in your life. I can't imagine anyone but you in the role. Go play. Our good night tonight is good night. You are perfectly cast in your life. And with so little rehearsal, too. It's a joy to watch. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Neil Abramson. I do like a good party, a wedding, a bar mitzvah even, a COVID stimulus bill, a signing party. I don't know. I don't think I'm getting invited to that. But hey, you never know. I do know that when we party again, I will be there with you. But until then, and until tomorrow night at more 8 than-ish, know that you, and most importantly you, yes you, you're not alone running this store. Have a great night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. It's time for dessert.